Hey, how's it going, world? This is Corey Lee. Man, one of the things that I wanted to say, one thing that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, and maybe that ain't the point, but this is what the Lord put on my heart today, as far as what I believe. And this is a really big deal to me, too. And this is something I might have to go back and listen to, man, because there's a lot of changes happening in my life right now. It's some things that has happened in my life in the past. You know, like at some time we just really got to go back and listen to the word from the Lord that even came out of our mouth sometime. Like we need to go back and review these checkpoints and things like that to see how far we come and what direction we've been going and all of that other stuff. But direction come from God. And this is all about direction pretty much. I mean, it might not even sound like it, but direction has a huge role to play in what it is I'm getting ready to say. Let's talk about this topic that people like to talk about a lot called chosen ones, right? Chosen ones. People say a lot of things to chosen ones and about what it means to be a chosen one and all of this other stuff. And a lot of these things can apply to even people who don't even want to serve Christ, to people who aren't even in the body. If you have no friends, you're a chosen one. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what does it look like when you are one of the people of God? That's what my channel is about. What does it look like when you are one of the people of God? What does it look like? And a lot of times we need people to be able to put that into perspective, into a real world life story situation. You know what I'm saying? To a lot of people, I might sound like an open book. All of my mess is my message. All of my tests are my testimonies. Ain't that how they overcame the devil? By the word of their testimony, because they love not their lives, even unto death, right? I love some stuff in my life. I love some things about my life, but overall, like it ain't that I would rather die, because I know I still got work to be done. A lot of us hate admitting that. I still got work to be done. I still got work to be done. Sometimes we want to make ourselves sound like we so far up in God and all of that stuff, man. But that ain't helpful to people. Pretending like you so far in God is not helpful to people, man. Especially the people God put you right in front of right now, and you putting on this big righteous role. And it's like, man, like be yourself, man. God called you to me because of who you are right now. Sometimes we like to act like we're not still in some kind of wilderness area in our life, right? When Joseph was in prison after being accused of rape, maybe I ain't supposed to say that word on YouTube. I don't know, man, but all them years he spent in prison, he was in the wilderness season. And he was still doing the work of the Lord in prison. When he was in slavery in Potiphar's house, God prospered everything he put his hands to. Like, he was still serving his slave master as unto the Lord, He respected his slave master enough not to even want to sleep with his wife. But most of all, he respected the command of God. But sometimes, and I ain't gonna say all the time, but as a chosen one, you will have a wilderness season of your life. You will. When you first answer the call, it seemed like your life is at some kind of a rest period. Everything is all good and great. God ain't really show you what this is about to look like yet. You know, you first come to the joy of the Lord, the peace, the joy of your salvation and all of that stuff. Like, and sometimes because the devil ain't showed his hand yet, like a lot of time we can think we just tracking. Like we just so far up in God. You learning all this stuff. Some of us learn fast, some of us learn slow. Some of us learn some things fast and other things slow. I'm a fast learner, and pertaining to some things, I'm a real slow learner when it comes to other stuff. So just as fast as I can learn one half of all of this is as slow as I learn the other half of all of this. But at the end of the day, we do need to make sure we are intentionally trying to learn. If you are chosen by God, if you know that your life has been set apart and set aside, you were called to be chosen. See, some of us, like, sometimes we take that whole being a chosen one thing and make it sound like, the Lord is about to do a great thing through us right now. Like, you were set aside until the day he officially pick you up to do great and marvelous things. You might not be fully operating in what you were chosen for, but just as much as God is in the present, he's also in the future too. But that's why when you were in sin, it seemed like God still had you set aside. But nothing worked out for you all like that. Like, you didn't really get to go as far and entangle yourself up in worldly things like all your other friends were. You didn't get that record deal and offered a blood contract like everybody else did. And now you see why, right? You didn't get to be in that fraternity. You didn't get to be in that gang and in that circle when everybody's so knee deep in what they doing and really don't even learn from their ways. Like, you were a great observant person. Like, you tend to caught on to some things real quick. Even before they happen, you caught on. You like, nah, that ain't for me. Everybody's doing this. A lot of stuff in life don't excite you like it excites the rest of the people in this world. But when you were a teenager, you knew people who would shoot somebody over a pair of Jordan 12s. And you saying to yourself, what good is a pair of shoes gonna do? It's just a pair of shoes. Everybody in your age group thought like that. You was like, nah, I just want to be somebody. Nah, I'm meant to do something while I'm here on earth. Then you answer the call and you get set off in that wilderness. A lot of stuff in your life get flipped upside down after your first year in faith. You just get flipped upside down. You wondering what you did so wrong to deserve this. But what you don't understand is you didn't do anything wrong to deserve this as far as why it's happening. But you did spend over half your life sinning against God, so anything's better than hell, right? But that ain't why this is happening. You in that wilderness period because of one reason and one reason only. Two reasons. Well, it's part of one reason, but I could say it in two different ways. But not only is it about leaving Egypt, but it's about getting Egypt out of you, right? And the second reason is all part of the same reason. To be tempted by Satan. To gain knowledge of the ways the enemy like to maneuver. So that way when everything is at stake, when God really puts you in do or die positions, you already done learned that lesson already. Like you already done seen that coming before. You've been that person already. You like, man, come on, man. But when God really set you in that specific mission that he chose you for, you can help everybody else, like who hasn't really been through what you've been through and learn what you've learned. Like you in the position where you can give other people a spiritual leg up in their situation, because you know what real world attacks of the devil look like, not them broad spectrum attacks like all the symbolism on TV and all the spells they working in the worldly music, and like, you know, and all the nudeness on commercials, and you know, not them broad spectrum attacks. I'm talking about them targeted attacks. You know how God will use the person you live with. I mean, not God, but the enemy. Like how everybody in your neighborhood seem to always give you the side eye. A lot of your family members like to pull things on you. The devil like to use them too, man. See, we need to expose those works of darkness. Like, we know about all the secret societies and stuff like that, but what is the devil doing in real people's lives? A lot of that stuff you ain't been prepared for, because those attacks are unique and they're very targeted. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they are unique to you. But like those attacks are tailor-made for you. But in a lot of ways, they work the same way in most of everybody's lives. Just like the devil went to Adam's wife to get him to betray the kingdom of earth into the enemy's hands, he'll still do that to you. It'll still work the same way. And if it ain't your wife, it's your kids, your ex, your boss on the job, the people you call your friends, the people in your neighborhood, the people you work with. Those are the targeted attacks that you have to learn from, learn through too, to eventually move your way out of your wilderness period, right? Every chosen vessel of God is gonna go through a wilderness period first. I guarantee you. I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, if you got saved one day and you never had a wilderness period in your lifetime, either I feel sorry for you or good for you. One or the other. That could be really bad or really good. And what does a wilderness kind of look like? I can sum it up with one word. A constant, targeted attack by the enemy that always seem to shapeshift, like from points in time. They always seem to kind of shapeshift. If they don't come in the form of hatred, they come in the form of love. If they don't come in the form of good news, they come in the form of bad news. Like, and it's all really meant for the same reason, to either get you to go back on God or spend your time doing nothing, on nothingness, just entertaining yourself, filling your gut, chilling, relaxing, looking forward to life. But when God set you apart, you don't live for the same reason other people do. And that's why you can't seem to find that much agreement between you and other people, because y'all are here for two different reasons. How can two walk together unless they be agreed? My life is here to be set apart to serve God in some of the greatest ways possible, even if they don't look that great to anybody else. Everybody else is here to just live life. Like, you can't seem to have long-term agreement with anybody whose life is all about figuring out how they could get their life to become something they can enjoy. I live for my days off. Like, you don't live for your days off. You live whether you on or off. In season or out of season. It's all the same thing to me. I mean, when I was working for somebody else, I'm preaching the gospel while I'm doing it. I loved getting up and going to work. That's another opportunity to serve God. Everybody else just can't wait. Oh, I can't wait till Friday. I can't wait till the weekend. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, holidays coming up. Oh, yeah. Like, you just sitting there like, hey, like don't none of this matter to me. I'm here for one reason, and that's it, to serve God. Nothing else. Sometimes people will try and make you think that you think you somebody in Christ, and you think that like you called to preach and all this other stuff. Man, it's like, man, like all of that stuff is like all of that stuff is matrix talk. Well, who you think you is? You ain't no mighty warrior of God called to preach and this and that. You just sitting there thinking to yourself like, well, if you a Christian, you are called to preach. If you really got saved, if you really a believer, every believer is called to preach. I don't think that I'm some mighty man of God. I'm just doing what everybody who say they love God is supposed to do. Serve him. I don't think that this is such a big deal what I'm doing. I just thought that's my reasonable service. Like, you know, like the same gospel I thought was as great because I received it is the same gospel I think is great if other people received it. I mean, who would I be to be the light of the world, right? I'm the light of the world, but I sit in one room instead of put that lamp on top of a hill for everybody to see, for everybody to get a taste of the light, for everybody to come to the light. I can't be the salt of this earth and nobody ever put me on their food. I can't be the salt of the earth and I don't have a flavor to me. I can't be the light of this world and you put it in a cabinet. I don't think I'm anybody, really. I just think that I got a job to do while I'm here. See, and that's what eats you the most, is that you know you got a job to do while you're here. Like, that's what bothers you day and night, is I got a job to do while I'm here. And in that wilderness part of your life, a lot of things is going to try and make that almost impossible for you. Every day of your life, you worried about, I got a job to do while I'm here. I got a job to do while I'm here. I'm waiting on God to promote me. I'm waiting on God to provide what I need to do exactly what he want me to do, the way he want me to do it. And it almost seemed like I'm only getting there 1 inch at a time every day. That job to do while you here is the only thing you think about all day long. I mean, it ain't the only thing, but it's the filter you see life through. I mean, you might even got multiple filters you see life through. The Bible, the job to do while you here. Almost everything you look at, you got to look at as in, is this going to serve me for what God want me to do? Is this serving for the purpose of why God saved me? Like, he ain't saved me just for me to live life. I don't even believe that is Christianity. Look at the book of Acts. Read the book of Acts and ask me, is that you? Read the book of Acts and ask yourself one question. Is this me? If it ain't, you got work to do. If you don't look like the book of Acts, then you're not doing Christianity. Or like you're not doing what is what God meant for us to do while we're here. Right? It don't matter how you do it. Like, you can serve God in very unique and creative ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could be a landlord, and that's the reason God saved you. It's for you to do his work as a landlord. Like, you never even know how many possible ways that could happen. I mean, you got permission to, like, you know, to knock on doors. Like, People move in, they got a Bible already in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people short on their rent. Who else gonna show them mercy? But not the unbeliever who's only counting his bottom line. Like, he lived for his bottom line. You live to serve the Lord. And you ain't even know that person was gonna come to Christ 3 months later. And they looking at all the mercy you've given them. Like, you cut them a break. You told them, hey man, if you short $100, you lost your job. I tell you what, man, you cut the grass at 3 or 4 of my properties, and you can slide with that. Unbelievers ain't doing that. They like, well, if you ain't got the money, you gotta go. They like, oh, thank God. I thought God wouldn't have made a way for me. Like, yeah, he's always got a ram in the bush. Always. Always got a ram in the bush, man. Always. Like, it sometimes might seem like you're going in a circle, man. A lot of the stuff you pick up in the wilderness, you can't bring with you. A lot of people can't come with you. And that's the main part. A lot of people just can't come with you. A lot of the people you met out here, like, they can't come with you. A lot of people you did meet will come with you. That's the reason you met them. God, like you'll run into other believers who might be in their wilderness season as well. And it's a reason why y'all bumped heads. And then it's kind of like y'all lost track. Like, y'all both kind of sort of, had some down seasons when y'all wasn't really walking that close to God. And then it seemed like as soon as God wake you up one day and get your attention, and you start picking up your cross and standing real strong again, they just pop up. It's the same case for them. Rest assured, that could be somebody that's going with you. And y'all all here to serve one purpose. Do the work of the Lord. That's it. Everybody God put in your life that he want you to do long-term things with is for one purpose. Doing the work of the Lord. God is not putting nobody in your path for long-term reasons other than doing the work of the Lord. Unless they somebody who can be useful for that purpose in other ways, and they not necessarily a participant in what y'all doing. Everybody's got to be useful to somebody, but I'm not saying that everybody's got to use everybody. It's not like that. There's so many ways to look at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You call your friend to go out to dinner. Why? Because they're useful as a friend to talk to. Right? But you ain't sitting around thinking of how you can use them as somebody to talk to. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say, really. I'm sitting here playing with this little purple teddy bear. I don't necessarily like this one because of like where the, because how big the glitter is and the pattern that it ended up drying up in. It's epoxy resin. I still got to sand the back of it, but I'm getting ready to make some little necklace charms out of this for my daughter, because she want to start herself a little craft business. So, and I just poured a bunch of these and like a bunch of epoxy in some molds and let them dry. And this is just one of the little teddy bears she want to make some little necklaces out of so she could sell them, And I just keep playing with it because I think it's interesting. I'm sorry if I keep fondling around with this thing, but it is what it is. Man, but that wilderness, God led you there. All them people you seeming to not really be able to walk hand in hand with. Don't you remember when it was God that led you around them? Don't you remember when God told you to get that job? Don't you remember when God told you to go to that church? And I don't nobody like you. And you sitting there thinking to yourself like, I wonder if that was even God. Don't you remember when couldn't nobody tell you that this wasn't God who wanted you to do this or that? And then you come to the conclusion, after all of this up and down, back and forth, round and round we go kind of stuff, I can't bring this along with me. It's like, for what reason did God lead me there? Because you have a lot of learning to do. You got a lot of growing to do. You got a lot of trusting to do. You got a lot of patience to cultivate in you. You got a lot of long suffering to cultivate in you. You got a lot of mercy that need to be cultivated in you. It's like you were ratchet, man. Man, you gotta say you was still man, just remember. Like when you first got saved, like you was still ratchet. Man, I remember around the time when I first got saved, man, one of my exes was dating this dude, and me and him, some mess got stirred up or whatever, and me and him ended up having an altercation on the phone. He tried to use one of my kids against me. I can't remember what he said, and I told the dude I was gonna blow his brains out. I literally told him that. Yeah, I remember getting saved too. I told the guy I was gonna blow his brains out. I don't have talks like that with people no more. Like I don't let people get me that mad no more. At least it ain't that easy. Like I give people a lot of passes. If anybody is pushing for total anarchy and confusion between me and them, I just don't even want to talk to them. I'm like, I ain't about to sit here and have a conversation that I know ain't going nowhere just because you think we ought to talk. About what? To end up, having me doing or saying something that you can then point out as, ooh, unchristian. Ooh, I thought you was saved. Ooh, a Christian ain't supposed to. Like, that's why I would rather not even be bothered with some people. Like, I just be like, you know what, man, these people don't like peace. Like, these people hate peace. They hate peace. The Bible also tells us not to even befriend an ill-tempered man unless we learn his ways and become ensnared. I mean, you might even marry somebody with an off-the-wall temper. And then you slowly but surely became like them. You start noticing that in yourself, and you like, you know what? Man, you might work with an ill-tempered man. You might live with an ill-tempered person. You might talk too much to people with just an off-the-wall temper. All of that stuff is designed to put things in you so that way you can't go take on the promise. All of the things that Israel picked up out in the wilderness is what delayed them leaving the wilderness. And it's God who lead them out of the wilderness. You can't just wake up one day and say, all right, God, I'm ready to take the promised land. It's like, no, you got to get sick of being out here. I want you to know that you're done with this. But that person you might be dating, I mean, you gave them too many chances. You might even be married to that person. I mean, like, you gave them too many chances, chance after chance. Like, they can't threaten you with divorce enough for you to, be somebody that you're not, right? And it's like as many circles as that you done went around, as many times as you done went in circles over and over, almost nothing you can do about it, really. It's like either God is going to have to dramatically change them, or he's going to have to dramatically change my mind. But as far as I know, a lot of stuff, like, you need to know that you know God is going to either have to do something about this, or I'm just going to have to leave it in his hands, like, literally, like, and that's the same as saying God is going to have to do something about it. You know, you might got kids like that. I don't know how old a lot of y'all are. I mean, some of y'all might have kids in their 30s and stuff like that. You know, all of my kids is no older than 14. You know, I mean, my kids ain't no older than teenagers, so heck. I mean, you might got a child, man, who just, you know, just totally disobeys the, you know, the commandments of God. But they bring in worldly stuff in your house, and you don't want to kick them out. They too young to even get a job. You know, man, sometimes you just need to know that you know this is a wilderness. This is a test that God put me in, being tempted by Satan. And you just need to learn the tricks of these trades. Not learn them, but learn how to maneuver your way out of them. Learn how to resist them. If you never get a taste of what this is like, then how can you really be a spiritual warrior? God taught Israel how to war when they were in the wilderness. That's what this is about. For you to learn how to war. You got to be able to stare evil face to face and live. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need that personal one-on-one time between you and the devil. And not so you can find fellowship with him. Like, not for that purpose, but like for you to get a real feel of what all of this is. All of this is like that. Like, that's the only way you are even gonna have a message. I mean, every prophet God sends, I can guarantee you they gone through something that kind of provoked their message, right? Like, I can guarantee, all right, like the prophet Hosea. Like, I talk about the prophet Hosea a whole lot. Because I actually kind of like the prophet Hosea. It was interesting. I seen something. Like, what he went through firsthand is what God intended because of how God felt about Israel. And what if he would have never went through that, but yet God still gave him the message? Like, he wouldn't even really been able to feel what he was telling them. Like, he would have had no real feel for his message. It's just, hey, this is the word of the Lord, guys. Bad news. He's writing you a divorce. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, oh, but bad news. Yeah, he said that you're not his people. So, oh, and here's the word of the Lord again, guys. He said that he'll buy you out of slavery. I don't really know what that meant, but yeah, I just thought I might tell you. Like, that don't sound like somebody that really know what they talking about. Like, that's what this wilderness is for. Whatever it is God is choosing you for. Like, this wilderness season that you in right now is going to be the whole reason you carry your message the way that you do. It's the whole reason you carry your message the way that you do. And the devil is always going to want you to be quiet about it. Nah, don't talk about this or that. It's like, man, like, you ain't here to talk about people. Like, that's so little and low and earthbound and like just puny minded stuff. Like, I see so many Christian YouTubers these days, they going back and forth about each other all day long. Back and forth about each other all day long. Like, there's time and place for clearing up your name. when somebody's spreading false rumors and things like that about you. Man, but it's another thing to always constantly start up some drama. Just start up some drama about what? Why? Like why do you even want that energy in your life? Like, for what reason? Like, what made you think that was a good idea to cook up drama for breakfast? Unless you a child of the devil, then I can see why you want that energy in your life. And you will have a lot of people like that, man, who just want to cook up drama in your life for only God knows why. And what make it so hard is that you yourself believe that these people were on the side of the Lord. And they always got some false rumor to spread about you. You like, wait a minute. I would have never even got as close to you as I did if I would have. Well, I can't say if I would have had a doubt in my mind, because I kind of did, but I ain't want to be too quick to judge. And in my process of not being too quick to judge, I guess here I am now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, you give too many people the benefit of the doubt because you don't want to be too quick to judge, right? And then by the time you learn by the time you learn where you stand with a lot of people, like, it's already, I mean, they already got the pitchfork at your door. Like, you know what I'm saying? But God, I mean, he's cultivating a nature in you. Jesus. Let's take Jesus. When he was on his way to the cross, right? Like, they were accusing him of everything he did not do. And he uttered not a word. He didn't go argue back with him. He ain't respond to him. He ain't say that wasn't true. This or that, this or that. He ain't say nothing. He just let them accuse him. Like, he just let them. And everybody who believed the Pharisees, they didn't really believe Jesus anyway. Like, they wasn't really on his side anyway. But they had other reasons for why they hung around him. Oh, because he was the man who did the miracles. You know, I might break a leg one day and need him. But they ain't hang around him because they truly believed he was the Son of God. They just, like, you know, hey, this might be the new wave of religion. Like, this might be the next big thing here. I want to be on the right side of history. But no, it wasn't really because you love God, though. Like, it wasn't really because your heart was with him. It was because of what he could do for people. That's all. And I really believe that a huge reason why the Holy Spirit did not lead Jesus to start defending himself is because he wanted the people who were on the fence to finally make their choice. If you were on the fence, right, but like still on the side of evil, then go on over there. And if you were on the fence and still kind of on the fence side of righteousness, then you make your choice too. He gave everybody room to show him, to make up their mind on where they stood with him. That's why he ain't utter a word. He ain't want to defend himself. He wanted y'all do y'all thing. Do y'all thing. You know, you're going to get a lot of people in your life, man, who are kind of very chameleon-like, right? Like, who are very chameleon-like. And the devil send them people for a reason, man. If you really did not believe that these people had your best interest, or was on at least was on the side of the Lord, whether they cared about your interest or not, you probably would not give them the time of day. That's why the devil tend to use other people who are supposed to be within the church and the community of believers, because he know that they're the only people that can get close enough to the ones who God has chosen. I mean, a gangbanger and a stripper, like, that's too obvious. I mean, we already know there ain't no agreement between me and them. Like, that's too obvious. They'd never go for that. Right? And one of the greatest tricks that the devil will try and play on you while you in your wilderness season. First, he will try to always tempt you with sinful things. Always tempting you with sinful things. A lot of his attempts is going to be successful, I guarantee you. I mean, you ain't perfect. A lot of them attempts are going to be successful. But then after you learn your lesson about being so casual about things and thinking that you can always bank on forgiveness and you know, pretend like, oh, it was just too hard of a temptation, Lord. Like, I think almost every believer has went through something like that, where like they had a phase in their life where they just, like, you know, if the temptation presents itself, then I guess it just, like, man, a lot of us learn hard lessons like that. Hard lessons. And then you got to go through a storm. And you got to go through all that correction. Like, stop giving in to temptation just because it was there in your face and you just couldn't find it in you to resist it. Like, man, you're going to have to find a way to resist it. Like, for real. You're going to have to say no, whether you want to do it or not. Like, man, or you're going to end up getting yourself into stuff you can't come back from. Like, for real. Like, for real. You ended up at the wrong weed man's house at the wrong time and bullets start flying and now you paralyzed from the waist down, like, for real. And you ain't even supposed to be there. But if that's what God got to do to get your attention, I guess that's what he got to do. Like, you going to end up having a baby with the wrong man, the wrong woman, something. And now you stuck with like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now you just, you know, like, you mixed up in they mess forever. Like, and y'all just can't work out. Like, no matter what you do, you just can't. It's like, dang. And it's like, I told you. I tried to tell you. You just didn't really think that I was telling you the right thing because you didn't really think that it was God telling you that, huh? Like, you still learning how to hear from God about things that don't even sound like it's the right thing at the moment. And God told you, hey man, they not the one, they not the one, they not the one. Oh, but they're so nice. And it's like, well, I don't know how many times I got to show you. Well, you know, everybody goes through things and yada, 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 but not this. Yes, of course, everybody's going to go through things, but not stuff like this, though. You know, not getting beat out of your sleep because you took too long to answer the phone because you was asleep. Like, of course, couples go through stuff, but not that. Like, I tried to tell you, you know, and now they done broke your arm. Well, I'm supposed to forgive and I'm supposed to be patient with people. You know, I mean, they just started going back to church. How long you gonna be stupid? How long you gonna be stupid, man? A lot of us really do need to take some time to just be stupid. Like you're gonna look back on some of the things that you fell for in your life. You can be like, why was I that stupid? God tried to tell you. You shouldn't have worked there. You shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have been in that situation. Like, you just thought maybe it was you thinking that, huh? Well, maybe next time you learn that God really does speak to you. Stop listening to all these people who say God ain't speaking to nobody all like that. No, he just ain't speaking to them. And maybe he ain't got to. Maybe they already, maybe they so seasoned in their faith to where, like, they don't need as much instruction as you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just listen to people all like that. Like, who say that God don't talk to nobody. Yes, he do. Yes, he do. Probably not everybody. It's a lot of people who ain't on the side of the Lord who God ain't speaking to. So, like, from looking at it from that angle, I guess that's right? Man, you just gotta trust that God is telling you the right thing, even if it don't seem right. Like, not that it don't seem right, because when God telling you something, you do know that it's right. You like, I kind of thought the same thing too. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I can, maybe I can show them the ways of the Lord. It's like, okay, go ahead. But maybe, maybe if we got married, things would change. Maybe we always got so much chaos because we ain't married yet. Maybe we need to do things like, Christ would want it. And like, listen, dude. I didn't intend them for you. Like, you remember the woman at the well and Jesus said, you've had 5 husbands and the man you're with now is not your husband. But now, how is it that you actually are legally married to somebody who Jesus say ain't your husband? He wouldn't even had to tell her that he wasn't her husband if in some way he wasn't her husband. Like, if they were just dating, like, she would have known that already. Like, Jesus wouldn't even had to tell her that he wasn't her husband. No, they went down to the town hall and got a certificate of marriage, and that's why Jesus had to clear that up. That man you with right now is not your husband. You've had 5 husbands, which mean what? Jesus confirmed the fact that like there is a lot of situations when you're gonna have more than one spouse in your life. Like it happens like that. Like, a lot of people do think that they doing what's right, and it's just, but like, and it don't mean that the other person is bad. Like, like, it don't mean something is wrong with them. It's just, heck, God could have very well had his hand on the man who he said wasn't her husband. A lot of stuff you pick up in the wilderness, people you partner up with for business and things like that, they just can't come with you. Heck, a lot of my services that I'm providing right now, like a lot of the work that I do right now, like, this can't come with me. A lot of the stuff I do right now can't come with me. I'm vacuuming the floor right now. This can't come with me. I can't bring this with me. Like, as much as I really don't want to end my relationship with this in a huge way, I really can't wait. I know what God has promised on my life. I don't really think a lot of people could convince me out of it and tell me I'm wrong about it. Like, a lot of things you pick up in your wilderness, man, it's gonna send you in a circle. But like I was getting ready to say, like, the two ways the devil will try to get you is the sinful stuff, right? The stuff you know you shouldn't do. And once you learn a lot of your lesson with that, and you just know, nah, that's too obvious. Nah, that's too obvious. Nah, that's too obvious. Then he'll try and send your life in a circle full of nothing. Nothingness. Chilling. Relaxing. Living life. Just doing life. Sports. Entertainment. Hanging out. Small talk. Accidentally being sucked into somebody's gossip. And if all the doing life stuff ain't gonna get you, then here come the war. Here come the persecution. Here come the backbiting. All of that other stuff. And if you ain't gonna fall for that, then hey, I guess it is what it is. But you're not here to perform for the devil, right? Like, you're not here to put on a show for the enemy. The enemy is always going to try and lead you into situations where, you know, people would try and like convince you to perform for them, or else you showing me you ain't a child of God. No, let them think you a child of the devil, man. Ain't no big deal. And like, if they already got a mind to want to believe that, just let them. So what? I mean, you end up in circles trying to prove yourself to people. You end up in circles trying to be everybody's superhero. Like, you end up in circles trying to, no, stop. See, this is wilderness stuff right here. Like, this is the stuff that could really cause you to go in circles on nothingness. Oh, so-and-so needs my help again. They gonna always need somebody help, dude. Like, how come it's gotta be you this time? Why? Didn't Jesus say, let the dead bury the dead? Man, let one of their family members do it this time. It ain't always gotta be you. All they doing is filling your day with a problem they about to have again tomorrow. They don't want to learn. They don't want to do what's right. They don't want help. All they want is somebody else to do it for them all the time. I could understand if somebody won't help, but no, they want you to do it for them all the time. Help is when you pitching in, not when I'm doing it for you all the time. Like, I understand people needing help, but some people ain't calling you because they need help. They're calling you because they trying to have somebody else to fall back on so they can have the opportunity to be irresponsible. You know, they wanted to go and spend all their money up on going to the movies and going on vacation and yada yada yada, and buying Jordans and buying a game and buying weed and spending it all up on cigarettes and drinks and parties and alcohol, and then they want to try and feed you a story about how they can't pay their rent. It's like, but you just got off of a vacation. I can't even afford to go on the vacation you just went on. They try and use your Christianity as a way for them to, have a scapegoat, for them to live their life. Like, they trying to live their life off of you, pretty much. Like, a lot of people will do stuff like that to you. And you got to eventually just cut them people off every time. Like 3-4 times a week, they need to borrow $10 until tomorrow. No, they wouldn't have needed to borrow $10 if they wouldn't partying it up every night. But what would Jesus do? Yeah, my kids ain't gonna have no electricity. Well, you should have thought about that before you spent $3,000 on a trip to Hawaii. I can't even afford a trip to Hawaii, but I gotta be the one to pay your rent. I pay somebody's rent who actually want to get out of this hole, not somebody that want to live in a hole. Like, if you want to live in a hole all the way. And no, I ain't got it like that to be paying nobody's rent. So don't nobody get no ideas and be like, oh, that's a brother. Yeah, that's a brother who can help. Yeah, me call that brother. It's like I can help a lot of people with a lot of things, but paying for stuff is just not one of them. There are things that God has called me to do personally in my life that really will involve money. I could contribute out in a lot of ways, in a lot of things that people need, but paying for stuff is not it. If you need somebody to come and install something in your house, hey, I got the skills to do that. If you need somebody to clean your carpet, I got the skills to do that. But I can't, like, I ain't got $100 a month to sign up for nobody's like ministry program or nothing like that. Because God has called me to do things that's gonna take my own personal money. And that don't mean that I don't contribute financially to ministries. Like whenever I got it, I give it, right? But all I'm saying is that, like, you can help people in more than one way. Like, money is not always the only way you can help people out. I mean, they got a flat tire, you can change it. No, I'd rather have the $40 for, like, no, let me just change the tire for you. No, I'd rather you just give me the 40 and then I go get it towed to the tire shop, and it's just like, nah, man. See, oh man, I already spent the 40 on my impact and all that other stuff. So all they gonna do is, heck, I mean, if you want, I give you a ride down there. Like, we can take the tire off. We can get a new, tire put on the rim. No, I'd rather you just give me the money and I'll figure out all that. Man, that car gonna sit there another 2 weeks. Man, it'd be matching blunts that night. A lot of people gonna fill your life up with that, man. Eventually you just need to know. Some people trying to send you in cycles of nothing. Cycles of nothing. Of just nothing. Every time you turn around, your whole day took up to do stuff for people that really don't want to get out of the hole they in. They don't want to get out of the hole they in. They just want somebody to do all the other stuff for them because they don't want to do what's right and get out of their hole. Some people just want you to spend too much of your time chilling and relaxing and doing everything but the work of the Lord. Long story short, man, who God sends in your life for you to have long-term agreement with, for you to walk with long-term, are gonna have to be people who want to also do the work of the Lord too. Like, we don't have that much time left to live like our parents did in the hippie days and everybody hung out on the beach and all that other stuff. Like, we don't got that kind of time, y'all. But this is do or die season. Like, we don't have time for kicking back and being cool like our parents could have. But like, this ain't that kind of life no more. Like, God is raising up soldiers. Yeah, like, it sounds all good to say you a soldier of God, but are you really? Are you really? I mean, do you even think like a man or woman of war? Like, for real? Yeah, I'm a soldier of God. Like, are you, and like, what are you doing for the Lord? Like, are you, man, I don't know. Like, it's a lot, like, man, like, you're going to run into a lot of confusing situations over and over and over again. But when God knows that you ready to escape that wilderness, he going to get you out. It's going to be a time in your life when you're going to have a bit of a taste of what getting out of this situation would be like if only you weren't in this situation. There's going to be a time when you get a sample of it. But just so that way you absolutely sure, that's what I want, Lord, that right there. I don't want this. And not only do you not want it, you know that it's not for you.
Like, it ain't for me to do this my whole life. You think I want to just be sitting here vacuuming floors my whole life? No. Like, I got more skills than this. Like, I got skills sets that can make me millions. And I'm tied up day and night doing $50 jobs. Like, for real. Like, I got skill sets that can employ hundreds of people. Like doing great things for the Lord. And I'm tied up all day. Making 20 and 30 and 100 and all of that, man. No, man. Like, I had my heyday with this, you know. And I do this all the time. I serve in humility as unto the Lord. But man, God be sitting there like, yeah, like, I get all that, Corey, but come on, man. Like, you got skill sets that are much more useful to the world than that. Like, anybody who don't know the things you know how to do can do this. I mean, somebody who have no vision for life can do this. But like, somebody who has no knowledge and wisdom can do this. Like, yes, you did it. Like, this was your humility test. I remember at a point in time when I thought I was too good to clean. You know, I got saved and started a cleaning business. Like, that's like them total opposites. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, Lord, listen, I like what I do, but like this, like, it's coming to the end, and I don't want to find myself not really pursuing the real point of why I even got into this. But like, there's one reason I started a cleaning business, and it wasn't because I just loved cleaning. I did love cleaning, but starting a cleaning business for the sake of earning my living and retiring from cleaning at an old age is not the whole point of why I done this. If that be the case, I would, I would have done a lot more with it. Like, I didn't do this for the sake of cleaning. I done this for the sake of something else. And God knows that, but it's like he nudging me like, yeah, it's about that time. Yeah, it's about that time. Yeah, it's about that time. I mean, you know, don't make a scene on your way out. Don't talk bad about what you're doing, because it ain't bad. I mean, people need people who could do stuff like this. Refinish hardwood floors and deep clean houses and clean carpets and power wash and, you know, mold remediation and fire damage and all of that kind of stuff, man. Like, people need this, bro. Like, we need this in the church. Bro, like, it's churches right now trying to save 30, 40 grand to have some company refinish the floor. Like, and here it is, $1,000 is life-changing money to a believer who know how to do this better than they would do it. And they like, man, let's give him, hey, a house $20,000. Like, we'll buy all the supplies, but we give you 20 grand. You like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, like, they need people that know how to do stuff like this. Man, like, when it all boiled down to it, I can always start a crew. Like, you know, I could always scale up a business doing stuff like this for, you know, people that trying to change their life, man. But it ain't got to be me doing it all this time. Like I got other stuff that's very, 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 very useful to the kingdom of God right now. I'm not saying this ain't, but this ain't the point of why I even got into this anyway. And God, he gave me a sample, a test, a taste of what it's like to really go after that for real. But I wasn't completely sold on leaving this behind. Like, it ain't that I was not sold on wanting that, on wanting to go for that. I just wasn't 100% sold on leaving this behind. And I didn't really think that that's what that was. And God is like, no, you ain't ready. I want you to be sold on leaving the wilderness behind. Everything you picked up in the wilderness, I need to know that you're sold. I don't want you making an educated guess. Like, I don't want you trying hard to see if you possibly making the right choice. No, I want you to be so sold on walking away from everything in the wilderness to where can't nobody stir you back the other direction. That's when you're ready to get out that wilderness. And only God knows that. You don't. But you think you're ready to make that change. All because it sounds good. But let stuff not work out at first with what you really want to pursue, and see how quickly you put all of that away and think maybe, no, this just ain't the time, and start selling off stuff. And it's like, no, you ain't ready. That's why I ain't give you, that's why I ain't give you the, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I ain't give you a whole lot. And think it not strange, like a lot of this stuff is ministry too. I mean, like I ain't gonna talk too much about what I've done and things like that, but he wants you to be 100% sold. And only he know when. You might not even feel like you are, and he know you are. But like, it might not even eat you up that bad, and he like, yeah, he ready. And it'll be on a day when you think not. Like, here it is, you're like, all right, I'm gonna just leave this all in God's hands, and I'm gonna do what I can do for right now, and I'll just wait on him to turn all this around and provide all the things that I need for that mission. And you just so focused on like what you got to do right now. And then he just turn it all around. You get that phone call. You like, I thought I'd never hear that. All of a sudden, all the right people start getting sent your way. The people you ain't heard from in 2-3 years. They all the right people just get pieced in. Like, you like, wait a minute. I ain't seen you in 10 years. I need you. I got something coming up. I need somebody like you who know how to do what you do. All of a sudden, it just happened like that. Like everybody just pop up like that, man. Everything just get put in place like that. Almost overnight. All right, like, I know it's dark. I gotta find my charger here, cause I'm about to go dead, and I don't want to go dead in the middle of the message, y'all. So let me get something fixed real quick, cause I'm on like 6%. All right, let me see something here. All of a sudden, everything get pieced in. All of a sudden, you get blessed with the perfect size car to take your crew around. All of a sudden, somebody donate a couple vans to your new church you want to open up. And you ain't even found the building yet. You got everything else but the building. You like, man, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. You're like, yep, we out of here. We leaving this wilderness. Everything we did here has served its purpose just for here. But now it's time to take on that promise. Now it's time to go after that ministry. But now it's time to do what God set us out here to do. Like, now it's time to do that. All this other stuff, man. Heck, it was fun while it lasted. Like, I enjoyed the people I met. I'm sorry about the people I ruffled up some feathers with, but look, my life ain't about all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't here to be nobody's enemy. I'm here to do the work of the Lord. And if by nature that make me an enemy of Satan, I guess it is what it is. And whoever wants to identify with Satan and feel like I'm their enemy, then I guess you saying a lot right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, my battle was not with flesh and blood or flesh and blood things. My battle was against the work of darkness. And if people don't like you putting up a battle with the work of darkness, I guess they just identifying as part of those works of darkness. If I were people, I would say something different. If I were people, I would have a different response, such as, what can I do to not be that way? What can I do to be, like part of what y'all doing? Sometimes there ain't nothing people can do. Unless a man be born again, he cannot inherit the kingdom of God. But sometimes people just can't do anything. Like, I didn't make myself born again. I didn't make myself saved. I didn't make myself have a renewed spirit. Like, I didn't make myself change like that. All I did was said yes to the gospel and took it seriously. God did the rest of it. I mean, yes, I had to, purposely say no to some things. Yes, I had to renew my mind, by the washing of the water of the word. Yes, I had to do that stuff. Yes, I had to say yes to the gospel, but I didn't make myself this way. Like I didn't. Like, it's sometimes, man, like, you can't help but to feel sorry sometimes, because like, a lot of people end up getting left behind. Like, man, you just don't talk to us no more. It's like, I mean, it ain't like that. It's just like, I don't try not to. Like I just got stuff to carry on with, and like, I'm not interested in what everybody else is here for. I mean, from when I was in my single digit age of life, I always wanted to know exactly why I'm here. Like, what is the real reason I'm here? I mean, maybe you need to do that too. Ask God what you here for. What is the meaning of your life? I mean, heck, you can catch up, But as far as right now, it's like I can't be disturbed and distracted by something that somebody going nowhere can do. I hate to say it that way. Like, I'm not trying to sound like arrogant or proud or nothing like that, but you can find a very you can find handfuls of rich people going nowhere. You can find handfuls of wise people, educated people going nowhere. So I must not mean like it in what a society would call it kind of thing. I'm tracking toward heaven. I'm tracking toward the work of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm going. Everybody else is going nowhere. If you're not tracking toward heaven, you are going nowhere real fast. A lot of this stuff, somebody who don't know how to preach the gospel to somebody else can do. I got work to do. Heck, a lot of this stuff, somebody who God, can't do miracles through can do. I mean, he can do what he wants through anybody, but like, I went through hell to make myself ready. Hell. I went through hell to learn what I've learned. I've learned hard lessons. You mean to tell me, like, I'm not going to just sit on that? Like, I intentionally pursued skill sets because I know God has something for me there. Like, I'm not just going to throw that on the back burner to just go and do life unless y'all want to do it too. Hey, y'all want to do it too? I got a place for somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, a lot of people ain't gonna understand you and how you and why you're like that. They think that you like make it sound like being a believer takes all that. And it don't take all that to serve God. It don't take all that. It's like, yes, it do. Wait. Yeah, you're right. It don't take all that. It take more than what you think is all that. Like, it take more than what I'm doing. So if you already want to aim low, Like if you want to aim lower than like where I'm aiming, then you already done missed the mark. Heck, I mean, because I got times where I missed the mark. So don't aim lower than me and make it sound like it don't take all that. No, it take more than all that. I mean, Paul was a mighty man of God. And I really don't think that he got to a point where righteousness was perfected in him. And it's something one of them scriptures say, man. I just really can't, remember it word for word, but like I want my whole inheritance from God. Everything about that Bible I want to see in my life. All of that stuff need to be real to me. I want to do Book of Acts. Like I don't want to do what's on TV. I don't want to do what's on the movies. I don't want to do what the prosperity gospel preachers say that we need to do in order to be a better person. Like I'm not here to be a better person. I ain't here to have a better life. I'm not here to be a better person. I'm not here to have a better life. So, I mean, we can write off all of that. I'm here to be a child of God. I'm here to get to heaven. I'm here to serve God. I'm here to see the kingdom come in me. If some of that better person stuff applies to that, then I guess it does. But that's not what the point is. Like, you know what I'm saying? And some people ain't built like that. Like, some people ain't built for that kind of a life. And you're going to get so sick and tired of everything you around, everything you circled around, everybody you surrounded by. Man, like you're going to get sick and tired of not being surrounded by people that want to take this by force. Like you're going to get so sick and tired of being involved in stuff that ain't got nothing to do like with the mission at hand. I mean, you're going to cry on the inside like, God, when? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of working for money. I want to work for the kingdom. If, you can make sure we somehow get the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of waking up every day just to pay a bill after all day long of breaking my back. I'm sick of this trash. Like I am. I'm tired of this trash. Always pumping gas and wondering when my next. No, man. I'm tired of this low vibrational. Like I'm not an energy and vibration and vibe kind of person, but like I'm tired of this lower being way of life. I'm just looking for Jesus to pay my bills. And make sure I got food in my fridge. Make sure I got a job and a car to drive. Amen. Like, man. Like, yeah, I want that too. But I'm like, man, I'm crying on the inside. Like, God, I'm ready to actively, and no, I might not be ready, but heck, I'll go half ready. I'll get ready on the way. But I'm sick of this mess. Like, I know one thing, I'm tired of this mess. If I ain't ready, get me ready on the way. Like, I at least need to be on the way. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'll put my boots on the way. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, heck, if I die while I'm out there because I wasn't ready, at least I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like forget it, man. Man, you just get sick of the same circle, man. It's all the time the same circle. Work all week long, and by the end of the week, you got $50. After every day you worked, you down to $50. By the end of the week, after every day you worked, you down to $50. You like, this is crazy. Like, what is my time getting spent on? Lord, I'm ready for you to promote me in that next step. I'm ready for us to take this promise that you put on our life. Like I'm sick of this mess. Like, I don't want to clean another floor. I don't want to detail another car unless it's my own. Like, I sell all that mess. I sell the whole farm and finance the ministry. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to wait on me. Oh, come on, God. Why? Like, if we packed all this stuff up and put a price tag on it, we had that stuff right now, we would. It's like, no, I want you to wait on me. Like, all right. I don't want you to sell a thing to make that happen. I will get you the money. And when you do, oh, you better be ready. Ooh, you better be ready. See, man, a lot of people who call themselves chosen ones, they always want to make it sound like they just a promised land person. Like, how come, look, if you can't admit, like if you can't understand where you are, you don't know where you're going. Like, we always want to present ourselves as if we already, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, man. Like, I guarantee you at least 80% of us are still circling in some kind of wilderness right now. But just because you in the wilderness don't mean you ain't serving the Lord. Like, you need to serve the Lord, wilderness or not. Like, wilderness be darned. Joshua and Caleb served the Lord in the wilderness. Moses serve the Lord in the wilderness. Wilderness be darned. Serve him right now, so that way when it's time for you to go and take that promised land, you already made this a practice in your life. Like, this ain't something you gotta try to do. You know? A lot of people can't go with you, man. I'm sorry. Like, you don't wanna be that person. And like, I know you probably know a lot of people who will be so helpful for this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know a lot of people who know stuff that could be so useful. Like, and they'd probably love to do it, but they just ain't the right fit. But like, they just ain't built for a life of trusting God for everything. All we need is one delinquent payment. Everybody's jumping ship. See, like, you don't need people that'll be willing to jump ship all because we ain't got the money. No, I'm getting out of here. No, I'm getting out of here. Heck, I need to know that I know that we doing the right thing. It's like, man, all right, man. Peace. Like, we don't need that cancer in here, no way. We walk by faith and not by sight. All you need is one threat from the government. Everybody jumping shit. Yep. Peace. I see you later. I ain't signed up for all this. I ain't signed up for these kind of folk neither. I knew we was gonna get in some trouble, probably. I mean, think it not strange. The government don't like you serving God, like, for real. I mean, they'd rather you do that, go to service, sing, clap, tell everybody to get you a blessing from God, and go home and call that Christianity. See, they cool with that. But they ain't cool with you doing miracles on the street. Oh no. Man, you will put Big Pharma in a frenzy. No, they ain't cool with that. Like, they ain't cool with you healing the sick. But they ain't cool with you telling this mountain to move and it does. No, they ain't cool with that. But they can't control a man like that. They can't predict people like that. Some people will get so mad at you because you ain't a predictable person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like they can't predict or control or move people like that. But wait until you actually do start doing this. Man, you gotta watch how many people you reveal the power of God moving through you too. Everybody ain't fond of you saying stuff like that. I had to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in some situations where I've noticed how much of a valuable thing it is for some people to just not mention, like, what they did. I knew a guy who did a miracle, right? Healed a sick baby. The child was almost getting ready to die, couldn't breathe, turning blue. And he laid his hands on that baby, and that baby healed right before everybody's eyes instantly. And the parent of that child didn't even realize what happened. Didn't even see it. Like, just didn't catch it. And I thought, like, you know what? It's a reason why God didn't quite open their eyes to the fact that they just saw the power of God move. I mean, you ain't did nothing but pray 3 words. It's a reason why that did not happen. Like, it's a reason why God kind of blinded them to what just happened. Because I don't think you ready for the kind of blowback that'll go with the fact that you can heal the sick if the Spirit wills. I don't think that you would be cut out for the kind of persecution you'll get if that really got exposed and was on TV and all that other stuff. I mean, you'll get used as a human experiment on all that kind of stuff. Like, the government don't want people doing that. All you got to do is take somebody's faithful patient away from them. Now I've been a physician for 65 years, and you mean to tell me you just got cured of AIDS? Yeah, the guy laid his hand on me, and like, it was all gone. Man, you would get some disturbing threats, all because you did good. That's what happened to Jesus. You got to get prepared to go through some persecution too. God is going to lead you into even making some right decisions that will cause you to have to suffer persecution. And persecution happens because people really do believe you're wrong. Like, if you was just doing what everybody thought was good, then no, you gotta really, really ruffle some feathers for the right reason. You know, you got to get prepared for that. Because once God is ready to move through you all the time, literally, or as the Spirit wills, when he really get ready to take you that next level, and like, you don't want this to be a surprise. If you still don't believe that people have demons and that demons really do use some of the most seemingly unintelligent people to cook up some of the most thought out schemes, and they ain't even sit back and think that, man, like, if you still get surprised by the fact that people are actually demon possessed and they can actually kind of, like, you know, morph character, shape shift, or whatever it is, I don't know, man. Like, you need to have all them experiences. Like, that's the wilderness for you. And for some of y'all, man, like y'all just can't seem to admit to the fact that you ain't as far up in God as you think you are, just because you're chosen. Chosen or not, that don't mean you far up in God. Like, that don't mean you tracking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that means you set apart to be worked on, so that way you can be used. For real. You answered the call, right? Okay. You know, many are called, few are chosen. You want to know why many are called, but few are chosen? Hey, not many people answer the call, and when they do, they don't believe that they can be chosen. But they don't feel worthy of eternal life, like the scriptures say. Some people didn't feel worthy of eternal life. Now, I know I'm not worthy of it, but hey, bring it on. I want it, though. Like, I want it. But some people don't feel like God can do something like that through them. Like it's just such a special calling that only certain, like, educated people get. Like, nah, man. But like God need to come down in great big blue lights in front of you and stand right in front of your face and say it word for word with a sign and a bunch of cheerleaders in the background. Welcome, chosen one. Like, no. Like, he don't got to do that. A lot of people got a matrix mind. Like, they got a religious matrix mind. Like, even a lot of these churches, like, something just seemed dead about it. Like, I don't care how much, I don't care how many jams they be having in there. Like a lot of stuff just seems dead about churches these days, man. Like, not all of them, but some of it seems stupid. Like, it's just pointless. Like, I don't even know why we come here. Everybody still got the same demons. Everybody still go home to hell. Like, ain't nobody really learned anything useful to heaven. Like, it's just about how to be a better person, how to be a nice husband. Like, man, come on. Like, for real, like a lot of it just seemed dead, like empty and dry. Like, you just wasting your time. Like, either I'm gonna have to grow accustomed to Christianity being all about having a good word on Sunday, or I'm gonna just have to just accept the fact that something about a lot of this stuff seems dead. Like, you ain't chasing a good word. Like, you're chasing instructions on how to be perfect before God. I want a word that is designed for me getting myself ready and prepared for not just to be used by God, but to have to stand before the judgment seat of Christ. I don't want to know all of that stuff that's only useful for just being here. On how to get you a blessing. And, come and see the prophet. He's wishing new cars on people, as long as you leave your seed offering in the bucket. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm through with all that pastor appreciation dinners and holiday dinners and Halloween dinner and Thanksgiving dinner and we got another pastor appreciation dinner. Like I'm fine with appreciations and all of that kind of stuff, but man, like, bro, like, it is, read the book of Acts, right? Does that look like you? No, really. Does it look like you? Well, then something is wrong. Something wrong. Like, I heard a pastor say that the book of Acts accuses us before our face. Accuses us. All this stuff we've been calling Christianity, that was the first church right there. If we don't look like that, something wrong with us. It accuses us. It tells us exactly what we ain't. We ain't really what we think being Christian is. That's what the book of Acts does. Heck, sometimes I find it hard to read. Like, man, like, when is this gonna be me? Yeah, like, I done a couple of these things, but bro, I'm gonna tell you when that stuff getting ready to happen, right? During great economic collapse, war, chaos in our country, that's when God is going to assemble his real sold out, for a mission believers. And a lot of people who just thought Christianity was all about doing church, like, they gonna be like the new Pharisees. Like, you do know that, right? Everybody who was always the odd man out, they're gonna be the ones who got 4 daughters who did prophesy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you can be a part of a local church all you want. I'm a part of 3 of them. 3 of them. I'm a part of 3 of them. So I must not have nothing against church. Like, you know what I'm saying? But just like most of them is just dead. It's all about having a ball and hearing a good word. That's it. Like, you want to know what I call it? Sociality. It's just about having a good word and having a ball, buck dancing, jumping, screaming, shouting, babbling off in tongues that ain't real. I hear some tongues some days and I just be like, man, that's bone chilling. How people are so for real about something that they don't even know can be a bunch of flesh sometime. I mean, the Bible told us exactly, and I'm not against speaking in tongues. I'm not accusing one person. But all I'm just trying to say is, we got to really make sure that we doing stuff like the way God told us to do it. And no, we ain't gonna do everything right, but the stuff we can do, the stuff that's easier to do, you know how much effort it take people to speak in tongues? You know what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. You know how much effort it take for people to just roll around all across the floor and buck dance like a fool and scream and shout? You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing wrong with that, but it's a lot of people think that that's what Christianity is all about. I'm not against somebody being joyful, but know the difference between what Christianity is meant for and going through emotion or a place to go on Sunday, meet up, gather, hear a word. I ain't against hearing a word, but hearing a good word it's not all there is to being a child of God. Hearing a good word and getting a blessing. I'm sick of that kind of Christianity. That stuff bothers me. It's so bone chilling to where people really believe that this is the fullness of our salvation. And a lot of that stuff gonna seem like it just fall right on off. Man, I'm not here to just do church. I'm not. I'm not here to just do church. For real. And a lot of that stuff just gonna fall right on off you, man. It got to. In order for God to really assemble us in the way that, but not us assemble, but use us in the way that the book of Acts looked like, a whole lot of this American-made stuff is going to have to fall off you. A whole lot of it is going to have to fall off you. A whole lot of stuff is, man. Look, your 401k, forget about it. Forget about it. Is a 401k in heaven? Nope. All right, well then forget it. How far away am I from getting one? 30 years? Well then I'm just as good as don't got one at all. So I'm not going I'm not going put on the back burner me serving God for something I can't get for another 30 years. I don't even think we got 30 years left here on earth. I'm serving Christ today while I can. Work while it's day, because the night comes when no man can. And just like I told y'all earlier, I work the job and preach the gospel on the job. I'm supposed to be a salesperson. I'm over here praying for people. Heck, having a good old time too. It was almost like people walked up to me just to feed me their whole life story and ask for somebody to pray for. You don't even know I'm here doing that already. I just got here. I've never even been in this location. And now you need somebody to talk to because you think you got a demon? What made you come up to me? I look forward to days like that, man. I did. Looked forward to it. I loved it. And the job was hard too. Man, that job was so hard, but it worked though. Yeah. But other than that, y'all, I got to get on out of here, man. Just remember, if you were chosen by God, you're going to have a wilderness. you are gonna have you a wilderness before you really go after that promise. But I hope y'all learned something here today, man. Blessings and peace to everybody. Have a good one.